Hello everyone, welcome to Civil Tech. This is Piyush. Today I am here to discuss about one of the most important and very interesting part of RCC design, which is called design philosophy and its various method. Let us start with design philosophy. Design philosophy says, first we need to fix the dimension of structural member and required quantity of steel. Secondly, whatever dimension we fixed and quantity of steel we find out, we need to check that quantity of steel and that section, is it satisfy the serviceability and safety condition during the lifespan of the structural member. Under the design philosophy, there is three different methods. One, working stress method, which is called WSM, ultimate load method, and limit state method. Now in next, one by one, we are going to discuss all the three methods.
Now I am going to discuss about working stress method. Under working stress method, there is few assumptions. First, working stress method based on linear elastic theory. Second, steel and concrete are elastic in nature. From these first two assumptions, we can understand whenever we are going to design any section using working stress method, that time we are using the strength of material up to this point. This is upper yield point and this is lower yield point. We know very well about this curve. This is stress strain curve for mild steel. In separate video I will going to discuss about this curve. Now we'll discuss about third assumption. In third assumption, to get the permissible stress, the ultimate strength we are dividing by factor of safety. See, whenever we are going to design any section, that time we are concentrating on two things. First, load, which is P, denoting by P. Second, strength. Here I am denoting by S. So this is my external load and this is my strength of material. As per this assumption, this says to get the design stress or permissible stress, we divide the ultimate strength of the material by factor of safety. Now the question is, what factor of safety we are using in working stress method? For concrete, in bending compression we are using 3 and for direct compression we are using 4. Now the question is, why we are using 3 for bending compression and why we are using factor of safety 4 for direct compression? If I draw the stress curve for direct bending compression, then stress curve is looking like that. Okay, so if I draw the stress diagram for direct compression, the diagram would be like that only. This is for direct compression and this is for bending compression. Here, if you see the maximum stress, we are getting an outer favor. Okay, but in case of direct compression, we are getting the stress is same throughout the section. That's why in case of direct compression we are using 4 factor of safety, and in case of bending compression we are using 3 factor of safety, and the factor of safety for steel is 1.78. Now come to the limitation of working stress method. In assumption, we consider concrete are elastic in nature, but concrete not at all as elastic in nature. Second, we consider the factor of safety to calculate the permissible stress, but we didn't consider any factor of safety to calculate design load. So that is the second limitation. Third limitation, we have considered the modulus of elasticity is constant for working stress method, but we didn't consider any creep effect. That's why we are getting only one modulus of elasticity. But if I consider the creep effect, then we'll get two modulus of elasticity. One is short-term modulus of elasticity, another one is long-term modulus of elasticity. So these are the limitation of working stress method, and we have also seen the assumption in working stress method. So now here I am finished. I'm going to finish the working stress method. Next we will start ultimate load method. Under ultimate load method, first assumption, we need to consider the nonlinear behavior of concrete. It means if I draw the stress strain curve of concrete, this is the stress strain curve of concrete. This is the stress strain curve of concrete. Here you see up to this point, stress strain curve is linearly vary, and after this the stress strain curve vary non-linearly. So in case of WSM, we are using the strength of concrete up to this point, but in case of ultimate load method, we are using the strength of concrete up to breaking point. Okay, so that is my first assumption. Second assumption, to calculate the collapse load, we are multiplying factor of safety with working load. That means in WSM we are directly using working load, but in case of ultimate load method we are not using directly working load. Here to calculate the collapse load or design load, we are using working load into factor of safety. But in case of strength, permissible strength, we are not using any factor of safety. So you can say this is the difference between ultimate load method and working stress method. Here we are using factor of safety to calculate the permissible stress, but we are not using any factor of safety to calculate design load. We directly use working load as a design load, but in case of ultimate load method, we are using factor of safety to calculate the design load, but we are not using any factor of safety to calculate the permissible strength. Okay, now we are going to talk about limitation of ultimate load method. First limitation, whatever section we are designed using ultimate load method will get the thin section. That's why it is not satisfy the serviceable condition. Second limitation, we are using the factor of safety to calculate only design load, but we are not using any factor of safety to calculate the permissible stress. So this is my second limitation and this is one first limitation. So we have seen the assumption and limitation of ultimate load method. Now we are talking about limit state method. Now we are going to discuss about limit state method. Under limit state method, first assumption, plane section remain plane before bending and after bending. It means if I draw strain diagram of concrete, we can see it very linearly. The next assumption is tensile strength of concrete ignored. That means we are considering only compressive strength of concrete. Third and fourth assumption, to calculate the design load, working load we are multiplying by factor of safety, as well as to calculate the permissible stress, ultimate strength we are divided by factor of safety. Here the disadvantage and limitation of limit state method is negligible. So we are going to talk about the advantage of limit state method. This method take into account the ultimate strength of structure, and also check for serviceability required. To take care of both safety and serviceability condition, there is two design stage. First is limit state of collapse and second one limit state of serviceability. Under the limit state of collapse and limit state of serviceability, what are the behavior is there? First, under limit state of collapse, first is flexure, shear, second one third torsion, and fourth one compression. See, all these four are imaginary behavior. Imaginary behavior. That means we can't see this behavior with naked eye, right? But in limit state of serviceability, there is three behavior. This is deflection, cracking, and vibration. All three are real behavior. That means we can feel that these three behavior we can feel and we can see on structural member. So we can remember like this way also. Those are imaginary behavior. This comes under limit state of collapse, and those are real behavior. It comes under limit state of serviceability. So here I am going to finish the limit state method.
So I hope everyone enjoying my videos. Very soon I will come with another important topics. To get the notification, please subscribe my channel and click on the bell button. Thank you so much.